Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue, and actually, we got Darren in the house as well. Let me fix something. I apologize. Let me fix up Darren's screen really quick. How are you guys doing today? We're gonna be talking some Justice League for sure. We're gonna be talking about our top five, favorite moments in Justice League, as well as some unanswered questions from Zack Snyder that maybe, or lingering questions, I guess we should say, lingering questions that we may have had from the movie. So before we get started, guys, we're just want to check in to see who's in here right now. Colin C, Drea, what's going on? And if there's anyone joining a little bit later, we're gonna definitely be interacting with everybody. So let's go ahead, and before we get started, let's just go ahead and check in to see how Twitter's reacting and everything while we let people jump in if they do plan on jumping in. So let me hop onto here. Boom. Hopefully you guys can see that. Darren, how many times have you seen this now?
Dude, I think 5 times so far. Yeah, I'm working my way through the fifth time right now.
Fifth
Sure.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it
This
the
time,
Go ahead.
but this time I'm just kind of skimming through like my favorite parts.
Yeah.
So
Oh, perfect for this video then, I guess you could say.
yeah.
Um, you know what's super cool? I've been on Twitter lately, and to be honest, I wish we were tweeting more because, like, everyone is, trying to keep the momentum going. But I've just been watching this movie like on and off, and I've just, we've been not tweeting as much, which kind of sucks. But what I'm starting to see is I'm starting to see a lot of like famous artists and rappers
Yeah.
and people talking
Yeah.
about this, and it's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
Isaiah Rashad.
I know. I just
So
re I just retweeted that one. Um,
yeah, that's pretty sick. And then yeah, it's pretty cool seeing rappers you know uh giving it a shout out.
yeah, for sure. And I wish, and maybe we can do another show on it, just digging into like how trending, because this event started trending not only from us, the people who have been the driving force of the movie, but also the people are starting to have their own hashtags right now. Like, people who are seeing it and have no affiliation with the Snyder Cut movement, they're starting to create their own hashtags. So there is crazy amounts of chatter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like what kind of hashtags?
So just like, how we've been tweeting release the Snyder Cut or Zack Snyder's Justice League, people have like other hashtag variations of that, Snyder Cut Justice League or something. It'll be offset hashtags. So it just goes to show how far it's reaching. These are other hashtags being created by normal people who are not aware of the movement that it took to
Yeah.
get here. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so what's going on? What's going on, AZ Brown Knight? We're doing good. So
Nice.
yeah, so we're gonna get it, guys. If you guys, whoever is in here right now, let us know what your guys' top five moments are. We're gonna talk about ours in just a second here. Then we're gonna go ahead and get into what you guys are saying down below, and then we're gonna also, again, we're gonna read off an article by Esquire where they did an interview with Zach. Zach's been doing a ton of interviews, and he answers some questions that I think are worth talking about. So yeah. So once again, if this stream has a little bit of hiccups because we haven't live streamed in so long, so I apologize for that. I do have a new computer and had to set up the streaming software from scratch again. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, Darren,
Let's do this.
we're gonna go. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about our top five, and while we're talking about our top five, we're going to just go back and forth. We're going to start off from number five, go to number one, and just talk about our favorite moments.
Okay.
It's a 4-hour movie, and there's going to be a ton to talk
So
about.
much.
So
Yep.
this was kind of a hard list, yeah. And yeah, let's get into it. So number five, Darren, what is your number five favorite moment from this movie?
Let's see. My number five favorite moment is definitely the Star Lab scene where Silas Stone see Cyborg with the Justice League. I think that little small part of the movie, I think that was so cool to see because you got to see like one, it's yeah, one, it's like Cyborg's father seeing his son with this godly group, but also you see you see his reaction um, to the Justice League. Just kind of like seeing like a normal guy seeing the Justice League like in real life, and just seeing his reaction and just seeing them just like walk past
Yeah.
him like he's like nothing. It was just super cool to see. I don't know
You,
why.
you know,
It was a great shot too.
yeah, Silas, he got to see his son, Cyborg's walking in, and he always wanted more for his son, and instead
Yeah,
of being stuck in that room and just kind of dwelling on his current situation rather than realizing what other gifts that he has, and he got to see his son leading that team
yeah,
into the ship, and he's like, oh man, my son is, I mean, I'm assuming he knows who Batman is and Wonder Woman. The Flash is
yeah.
probably someone that he doesn't know, but he's like, wow. Yeah, that would definitely a scene, one of the scenes that were cut out and that were actually in the um, it was not in the trailer. Oh, what's going on? So I see the Nicotina show. What's going on? What's going on, man?
What's
He
up?
says Darren's mic is not switched on. Sounds like a webcam mic. So
Oh,
is your
let me see. I'm on
mic
the
switched on,
snow.
Darren?
I'm on the snowball mic. Let's see. I don't. My mic sucks right now. It's bad.
Yeah, I guess it is. You know what? We're gonna go on with the show. We're gonna have to try to get this fixed.
Hold on.
Excuse.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not. Yeah, it's selected. So.
Hmm. It might be the streaming software I'm on. I gotta try to see what's going on. But yeah. Uh.
Uh,
Um.
let me try to change it to a different mic, my webcam mic.
Okay.
I don't know if it's gonna change anything.
All right.
Is this different, guys? Let me know. Um, just want to make sure my mic is cool for you guys. It's a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, excuse this, guys. Like, we haven't live
Yeah.
streamed in so long, so I haven't
Let me know.
so let us
How's
know.
it?
Let us know. So basically, Darren's top. So I'll keep it going, anyways. But
Yeah.
let us know if Darren's sounding better. Darren's number five moment was when the League hops into the Kryptonian ship to resurrect Superman, and I thought that scene was, yeah, that scene was pretty powerful. Seeing Cyborg lead the team, and the cool thing
Yeah.
about this movie is that you get to see each character get their shine and get their moment, in the spotlight. And in that moment, Cyborg, without Cyborg, they wouldn't have been able to do this. So that was super cool.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
like it.
yeah, let me get into my top five. Hopefully, let us know if Darren starts to if Darren's mic's fixed. If not, we'll get it fixed on the next stream. But we're gonna keep this going. So my number five moment is it's all good, Nicotina. No, yeah. So my top five moment, guys, is the opening sequence. The reason why, and what's weird about this is it's something we've seen in BVS, obviously, but it's something we've seen from a different perspective, and it just sets the tone for how different this movie's going to be from Justice League. And I think that was very important to do something different than what we got. Obviously, Justice League opens up with a Frankenstein version of Superman, but with this, continuing the tradition of showing the other movie from a different perspective, I thought was awesome, and it provided a lot more clarity into how the mother boxes, and why the mother boxes kind of opened up. And not only does it not only does it introduce us to that, but it introduces us to the Amazons, Cyborg right off the bat, and anything interacting with the mother boxes. So I thought the opening sequence was just amazing, and I
Yeah.
cannot fathom why they would change the opening sequence to some phone footage. I don't know. I don't know. So it's number five. Yeah, opening sequence. Um,
No, I definitely understand. Yeah, I definitely get you. Like, I mean, that does like explain why the mother boxes, open up, or why Darks or why Steppenwolf comes to Earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes sense, and that's what That's what the Whedon cut kind of failed on.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, and so we're seeing over here, the soundtracks are being boom. Guys, let me know your top 5 lists. I know there's a lot, but if you guys have a top 5 moments, drop them in the comments, and we'll read them. We'll read them off as we go along. So Darren's was Cyborg walking into the Kryptonian ship to resurrect Superman. My number 5 was the opening sequence of the movie. So Darren, tell us your number 4.
All right, my number 4 is like it's another cyborg one. Is when Silas Stone sacrifices himself, for the mother box, and so I think that was a insanely powerful scene. And then the aftermath of that is, you see Cyborg just like, so like he's crying, and then like you get the league
Oh
kind of like
man.
trying to figure out like what happened, and it was such a powerful scene, and I always always like that's one of the scenes that I skip to every time. So
Yeah, other things about that scene, obviously it was an incredibly moving moment when you see
yeah,
Silas sacrifice himself, but it also highlights the importance of Ryan Choi's character, right? Because Ryan Choi, was the one. If
yeah,
I'm correct, if I remember correct, Ryan Choi was the one who figured out that when heated up, it becomes like the most hottest material on the planet. So Silas taking note of that mentally,
yep,
it flew by. It might have flown by your head the first time you watch it, but Silas taking note of that, and then kind of using that information to kind of help the league was awesome. And it just
yeah,
what's awesome about this Justice League movie is that it wasn't just this movie didn't revolve just around the 6 main Justice League members, but it also it took a lot of other moving parts. It took a lot of other people in the universe to help save this world. So
yeah.
I really love that scene for sure, and it definitely brings back those Watchmen vibes. And I think
Yeah,
Zach
that was
probably
the thing.
did that on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I caught that scene with Ryan Choi, and I think after he says it, he's like, yeah, he says, yeah, you're looking at the most hottest thing on the planet, and that's exactly what I said to my prom date.
yeah. Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Ryan Choi a little bit later because Zach had some comments to say in that article that I'm gonna pull up. So we'll talk more about Ryan Choi, and I think he's a character, one of those characters that were kind of, even though he was a small character, he really made an impact on me at least. But yeah, let's go on to my number 4. My number 4 was the new sequence that Zach shot. It was the not Jared Leto, the Joker and Batman interaction, and there is, and again, we're going to talk more about this later in the article that we pull up, but this was just like, it was like a dream come true to finally see these two together. Because you think back to like a couple years ago or even half a year ago when we didn't know that this movie was going to be coming out, and it was just all you could see online was these these fan interactions that were put together via art or whatever, just to try to imagine what it would be like to see these two interact, and to see them interact finally, and to see them go at each other and kind of mess with each other's minds was freaking awesome. And it's not a traditional way you'd probably see them interact with each other. It was super psychological in the way that they were really getting to each other, and it really reminded me of the recent Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo book, Last Night on Earth, I think it was called.
Yeah,
And it was like Batman was carrying around the Joker's head, and it just gave me those vibes so much. And I really thought that scene, it's amazing that Zack Snyder shot that in his backyard. Jared Leto, he wasn't even interacting with Ben Affleck, if I'm remembering
yeah,
correctly.
yeah. They weren't on the set at the
Yeah.
same time.
So that
Yeah,
is
that's
insane, and
crazy.
and and I thought it was a powerful one, and you know, it was weird to me at first, but as the more I watched it, the more I'm falling in love with this, and I hope we see more. Yeah, so that's my
No,
number
yeah,
4.
yeah. That whole scene was pretty incredible. Like, I didn't even know they weren't on set. I didn't know that it was shot separately. And man, and what he got out of that, what Zack Snyder was able to get out of that scene is crazy. But yeah, that's a good scene.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Are we on to number three?
Number three.
Okay, all right. Let's switch it up. I'll go first this time. My number three is the history lesson. Now this is kind of an easy one. It's kind of a cop out one. I
Yeah.
feel like because this is like one of the most awesome scenes in the movie, by far. And I have to put it on here because of the um, you know, for him to expand and expand on the myths that exist in this world, and to show us Ares, to show us Zeus, and the new gods going up against the old, I think was just amazing. And if we had seen that in the theatrical cut, I mean, obviously, a lot of these things, if we seen in theatrical cut, it would have really changed the narrative. But
Yeah.
I'm almost happy they didn't do this, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to see this. We wouldn't have been able
Yeah.
to see Darkseid, fight against these, or at this point, Euxis fight against these old gods. And I was talking with a coworker. My coworker was like, "Rob, I saw the Snyder cut. It's awesome, but why is the big bad? If this guy's the big bad, why did he like fall to an axe?" And he didn't realize, even, I mean, I thought it would be apparent, but he didn't realize that he was fighting Ares, and you had Artemis shooting an arrow at him, and he had Zeus shooting at him. So it literally, and then also the King Atlan's trident blast. So it really took the combined might of the old gods to really take down young Uxas before he even got the Omega. What is the Omega power that he has? But yeah, so I really thought that was beautiful in all types of ways, like the music, the score, just the visuals of it. It was just amazing. So that's my number three.
Yeah, the visuals in that scene is really good. People are reposting like some of their favorite images from that scene, like that scene where Darkseid chops off the Green Lantern's hand.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
that, and it was just like on the floor. Like that is crazy. That's a really good scene. A really
Yeah.
good image.
Yeah.
If I could just, like,
And he
put it
actually
that way.
reaches for the lantern ring, which is pretty awesome. He actually reaches for the lantern ring, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. All right. What's your number three? And then we'll get
Alright,
into
so
see
my
what.
number three is when the league is discussing the plan. Hopefully you guys could hear me better. Like I just love that whole discussion, and like people are going like Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman are going back and forth. And then I don't know. I just like them just interacting
Yeah,
about
for
the
sure.
plan, and just like not in their
Not
superhero
in. Yeah.
costumes,
Mm-hmm.
just like themselves. And it was a cool scene.
It reminds me
Way
of the.
better than the Whedon version.
Oh yeah, it's good to see them do this kind of stuff, because
They're on the same page.
it reminds you of, I mean, just watching. I remember watching the Just League animated cartoon, and you get a lot of character interactions in that cartoon, and I love to see them interact. Just seeing these characters, even in without their suits, just interacting, and the dialogue and banter between them was amazing. And yeah, and you get. It was good to see that these characters weren't treated as some joke. Aquaman wasn't stealing a bunch of tools from the Batcave. Bruce wasn't being a dick to Diana about Steve Trevor. The characters are a lot more likable, and the interactions were just, they were just. It's always fun to see these guys interact. Okay, cool. So before we get into what are we on 2 and 3, let's see what people listed right here. So we're seeing the soundtrack. People are loving this soundtrack. But here, Colin listed some scenes right here. Number 5, nightmare sequence for him. Number 4, final fight with Steppenwolf. Of course, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Number 3, Superman, of course. Number 2, history lesson. And I think he listed... Oh, we'll talk about number 2 and 1, because we're going to talk about it, I'm sure. Let's get into number 2. Number 2 for me, Cyborg scene. Cyborg learning of his powers in the voiceover with Silas, and him helping out, being a good Samaritan and helping out. She doesn't have a name, but the mother who has a kid, and he essentially he gets to learn of just how godlike his powers are. In the age of the internet, he is the god of the internet essentially, and he gets to. and he realizes, hey, look, I can he can literally manipulate the stock market, change the world, but he instead goes on to this, there's this small interaction with someone he doesn't know, and he chooses to help her out, and it's it expands on his character in this one scene more than the entire Justice League movie did for him. So that was, I almost, people talk about tearjerker scenes in this movie, and that one, I think I almost kind of teared up on that scene. I'm not gonna lie, it was just like, man, you see the smile and the acting from Ray Fisher. The smile on his face when he sees, the woman see her bank account, and you see both despair and just not hopefulness, but you just see Ray Fisher's emotions come through. And it's funny because he's like almost 90% green screen. You just see that half of his face, and I think it conveys so many emotions. And that was a truly powerful one for me.
Oh yeah, I love that scene too. That's a good one. All right, so for me, my entire list is mostly all comic book like fan stuff.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
But yeah, I love the whole Flash saving people from the debris.
That was sick.
That was sick. Like I touched on it in our last video, but I love that whole part. Like that was sick. It was so godlike. I just want to get like a frame of that scene and just post it on my wall.
Yeah.
Like it's cool to see.
Yeah,
I feel like that's something that Alex Ross might have like drawn up too. I feel like that imagery is from Alex Ross. I think that's where the inspiration came from. Because I could have sworn I've seen that like in the comic book somewhere.
You're talking about specifically the debris scene, or even when he's running on the wall and getting.
When he's saving people from the debris, like when it just shows the hostages like looking up, like what's going on? You see the light.
Yeah.
That was cool. Like that's. Oh man, I love that scene.
No, for sure. Much. And it's funny, they took that, apparently that scene was already shot, so it didn't need any extra effects, but they took it out of the movie anyways, so it's pretty baffling, like what they were thinking right there.
I think they said for who said it, but they said Whedon took it out because he said the audience wouldn't understand what's going on.
Gosh.
Stupid.
Yeah. Okay. That makes no sense.
Why when I saw it, I was like, "Holy crap! He's catching the debris." I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, and you hear the coin. It's like the coin drop, like the sound effects. The sound effects. It was like winning. It's like, but
Flash is like my favorite in this movie. Like,
yeah.
My favorite.
Oh yeah.
Like he has a lot of great scenes.
Okay, so we're on number one, right? Are we on number one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, speaking of the Flash, I'm gonna
yeah.
We got some people talking like Colin's favorite one was the Flash. Tony is talking about the Flash too. So, this Flash obviously was one of the biggest upgrades outside of Cyborg. I think Flash was the biggest upgrade from Justice League, and my favorite scene was obviously, well, for me, was the Flash traveling back in time.
Oh yeah.
And
come on.
that was just shit was just epic. Yeah, it's your number one too?
Yeah.
Okay, we can just tell you.
It has to be number one. Like,
that
how can it not be number one?
Yeah, I mean the setup was amazing too. The setup from the Superman resurrection scene when he talks about how his when he travels past the speed of light, weird things happen with time. And you see it play out, because I was like, oh my God, did the Justice League actually lose? They actually lost. The world's exploding.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. And then, you see Ezra Miller's like, that was like, I love everything about his body language in that scene was amazing. And yeah, him just kind of, talking to his dad, even though his dad's not there. He's just, I imagine if I was facing a world-ending event, I'd start talking to myself and just talking to people like I imagine that they're there too. And oh man, just the visuals of that. Again, I think I said it in our last video, just like Andy Muschietti, man, I hope you adopt what just took place right now, because this is on some next level speed. Like, you've seen super speed done in comic book movies, but nothing like this. And
Andy Muschietti, he has to because he's Flash in his movie. He's going to other universes, so we're definitely gonna see that power come back.
Oh yeah, I want, but
So,
visually is what I'm saying.
visually,
Visually,
yeah,
like, dude, this was the most amazing. I mean, maybe he'll come up with something else, but it's gonna be hard to top that. So
yeah, for sure. No, yeah. I mean, the thing with Ezra Miller is like his whole what happened to him last year and the whole choking thing, like that it's just a huge bummer because his Flash character is so good that it's like
yeah,
he's still like it's awkward when he start with, I'm sure when he's gonna promote the movie it's gonna be so awkward for him.
yeah.
So
You know, hey, we're gonna get to what people are saying in the comments in a second,
yeah,
but you know, yeah, so like I still think some of the dialogue choices are a little bit weird and with this Flash, like I'm sold on him completely,
really,
but like so
okay,
it's just like, okay, it doesn't remind me of Barry from the comics, at least from the comics, the Flash comics that I've read, the Flash and Justice League comics
yeah,
that I've read. It doesn't, obviously it's something different. Ezra Miller's doing something different, like a more modern, maybe tech
he's
nerd,
making
like,
his own for
yeah,
sure.
of course, and that's no problem at all. I just
Yeah,
some of the weird, like little things with Alpha, I mean, I love that every person has a different, different characteristics, and this league is a bunch of different people. It's just a lot of these
yeah,
things that it feels like sometimes it feels like he's Ezra Miller, not Barry Allen, because Ezra Miller. I mean, I watched a lot of interviews with Ezra Miller. I've only seen him in like one other movie actually, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and he feels like sometimes that's the same character. But that's very little, I get it here and there. But I actually, overall, absolutely love what we got. Seeing that scene with him saving Iris West in full was just amazing. I actually love the music choice. That I don't know those songs, like the slow motion, sequences with Aquaman, going into the sea, and also Flash saving Iris. The music choices wouldn't have been something I would have expected, but I actually absolutely love those songs that were playing during those moments. But yeah, so yeah, go ahead. I mean, anything to add for this number one, since it's the same thing?
yeah.
It's the same as yours.
I mean, you touched on a lot of it. I mean, I just love the way he was running. I know his run is kind of funny, but like I feel like
Yeah,
when he's doing this,
yeah,
like it made sense because he was going so fast that like I'm sure like the wind was like it was hard
yeah, yeah.
to like move his
No,
arms
you know what? I was trying to rationalize it, and then someone commented on the video. He was like, "Bro, you're reaching. That shit is trash." And I think I responded to him, but I started laughing. I was like, I am reaching. I'm trying to defend it.
No,
I'm trying. I want to like it, but yeah, his
I mean,
running
there's
is
a reason.
weird.
You have to ask why he's doing that. So like,
Yeah,
there's a logical reason why Ezra chose to do this.
logic. I would love to hear that logical reason. Like, you hear a lot of people and talk about running. And I'm in the. For a while, I was like hearing a lot about that because I was, I have a kinesiology degree and we'd study biomechanics, and that makes no logical reason to me. Like the way he's, moving his hands. I mean, whatever though. Like that's a little nitpicky. I love the Flash in this
But
movie.
his running wasn't as
Yeah.
annoying as it was in the other
Sure.
version.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the Whedon cut
It was.
it just
Yeah.
didn't look right at
Yeah.
all.
Or it highlighted more of the footage in a different way. Yeah. But all right, let's get
Yeah.
into what people are saying. We have some questions here. So actually, then I don't have to do with the top 5 at all, but we're gonna get into it. It's gonna kind of lead us into this article. So yeah, Tony says when Cyborg lost his dad, it was really emotional. And then Colin goes, anyone catch the ending where it's implied that Lois is pregnant?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch the. I mean, obviously you see the pregnancy test during the movie, and then I didn't catch the fact that she was holding kind of like a crib at the end. But actually, Zack Snyder actually said, yeah, she's definitely pregnant. So we're going to talk about that because he says it in this interview he does with Esquire. So it's not even a question anymore. I thought, Zack is like telling all right now because he doesn't know if he's going to get a Justice League 2. And there was one other question about there's one other question someone said about the Joker, and I went, okay, Star 1111 says, I have a question. in the maybe sequel where Lois dies and his nightmare becomes real, how do you think the Joker is connected or needed in the plan to fix it based on this scene in Justice League? So, Darren, I'm going to ask you. I kind of think I heard someone explain this already, so I want to see what you think about that.
So how is Joker involved?
Yeah, how is Joker involved?
Dude, I don't even. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I did much of. I don't think.
Yeah,
I did
actually,
much of my research.
now that.
Maybe,
Go ahead. Speculate.
I
Go
guess
ahead.
maybe he's. I don't know. Like I think based on what you told me, like doesn't he have like a mother box? He's supposed to have a mother box, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I had heard too. And actually, I
Yeah.
just lost my train of thought. I swear I heard there was a reason for that Joker was involved. Actually, I'm kind of blanking right now that now that I had it in my head because I had someone described it very well. If anyone in the comments has an idea of how Joker is going to be involved, yeah, drop it down in the comments because I'm drawing a blank. I thought I had
I mean,
something, but I'm forgetting right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the Joker was working for Darkseid. I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. Like maybe he cut like a deal with him. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. But I mean, but also if he's supposed to have the mother box and he's hiding from Darkseid, I guess that would just wouldn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, hey, you know what's funny? All right, we're gonna get into those unanswered questions. We're gonna get into some of those questions, and we'll get into what people say first. First, I want to read Mr. Fahrenheit says, I really thought Zach was going to show up on the stream. You clickbaited me. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the thumbnail, Darren. Yeah, I apologize if I clickbaited anyone. I didn't think, I didn't put Zack Snyder interview on there, but it, the reason why is because we're going to go into this article where he kind of, let me show you guys the article actually. Let me just show you instead of tell you. Let's get into this. Let me click onto the right scene. Boom. Hope you guys can see this. It's an article from Esquire. It says Zack Snyder answers every question you have about his Justice League cut. So I'm not gonna read the entire article and interview. I suggest you guys check them out. But I'm gonna go over the last of the questions that he's answered. And I'm gonna do a little bit of reading, so I hope you guys don't mind. I'm gonna skip some of these questions just so you guys, I can give credit to Esquire. You guys can go ahead and read the article. But let me start here. Transporting.
Let me know if my mic is different or if it's still the same.
Yeah, we'll have to fix that behind the scenes. I don't know what's going on with this, but
Yeah.
okay. So I'll start with this. So Zach says, we'll start with this. It has to do with Cyborg. Esquire says, I'm going to ask some quick nerd question here, but knowing you, I'm sure you're going to be cool with that. What exactly happens to Silas Stone, Cyborg's dad, towards the end of the movie? Snyder says, when he gets killed by the electron laser, I had just imagined that thing was the hottest thing on Earth. The laser generates so much heat in the chamber that it vaporizes him eventually, but the first moments are him just kind of overheating, like being microwaved slightly from the inside out. And Esquire says, so he's not being transported to an alternate universe or anything like that? Snyder says, no, he doesn't get to come back with massive powers, but that'd be cool. I'd like that. I like your thinking. And then Esquire says, no one ever really dies in comics. And then Snyder says, except when they do. And it kind of just highlights the fact that Snyder, takes this, Snyder takes this universe a lot more, seriously in terms of, the deaths that happen. Now, obviously, the biggest MacGuffin was Superman, Superman coming back to life, but that was obviously a comic book storyline they're playing on. But kind of you see that happen a lot in especially the MCU movies, which I don't have a problem with actually, but it just some people I had seen talk about that. Hey, is he really dead? And it's kind of, for me, I was like, of course he's dead. You see this dude turn into ashes. But I like that. I like the fact that Zach says that, except when they do, because in his story, people actually die, and they die with sometimes brutal ways.
No, he really becomes Dr. Manhattan after that.
Yeah. Let me
I'm
see.
just kidding. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
if you want to tie into the other um sorry, oops, there we go. So there's also some questions about the black suit. One of the questions that people had was about the black suit, what it meant, and here's what they say. What's the story behind Superman's black suit? Snyder says it comes from Death of Superman, of course, but I'm also into this Robert Bly book, The Red, the White, and the Black. The white of naivety, the red of anger, and the black of humanity. I just felt like the black suit is really symbolic of that as well. But also, frankly, I flew him straight up into the sun to charge him up. I like the black suit as a practical thing of there needing to be a way for Superman to charge up quickly and be stronger than he was, so it works on a theoretical and symbolic way. And
Wow.
I thought that was a
Wow.
really good explanation into the way he was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because black obviously being able to absorb more light, and obviously coming from an inspiration from this book that I have not read. A
Yeah.
a
That's a
lot
good
of symbolism
explanation.
here. Now I can't
Yeah.
remember if I saw this on the Justice League or a DC animated movie, but was it the black suit that was like a healing suit for him? Was that
Yeah.
from the
That's what
comics
it's
or
supposed to be.
the animated suit?
Uh, I think that's how it was in the wait. I think that's how it was
It was in
in
the
the
comics.
comics.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because you know, a lot of people, especially like, you know, watching it with people and talking about it with people who are not familiar with, you know, the history behind it. That was one of the first questions, like, hey, why is Superman's suit black? And you know, Snyder has his own explanation to things, and
Yeah.
it was just, it was
I just
cool. Yeah,
yeah. I just wish they. I wish he did touch on it
yeah,
in the movie.
yeah,
But I understand like the whole like the politics with Warner Brothers during that time when he shot it. Because they didn't want it to be black, right?
yeah.
So I just wish he shot extra footage just explaining why it's black. I think that would have been. I think it would have answered so many questions, like because everyone has that question,
Yeah, yeah.
especially non comic book fans.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And there's hopefully, well, I know Zach's gonna definitely do some live streams in the future and probably touch more on that, because that was a really
Yeah,
good question, I think, because it just really wasn't even addressed, the fact that he's wearing black from the characters. But yeah,
yeah,
I understand that this footage was kind of shot with the red and blue suit, and with the intention of changing the color later on. So they go on to ask about Cyborg and Steppenwolf. Okay, let's see. I wanted to touch on. Oh, let me go ahead and read this right here. They touch on the epilogue, which is one of the best epilogues and scenes in the
oh
movie.
yeah,
Along with everyone else, I have a ton of questions about the epilogue too. This was entirely from a new shoot, right? Snyder says. So here's the situation. In that whole sequence, the new is the Batman Joker scene. If this is my last DC movie, I felt it was going to be rude for me to have never gotten Batman and Joker together in a scene. And so I kind of came up with that scene. The last scene with Martian Manhunter, originally I had shot in England, and the dialogue was very similar, but it was supposed to be one of the lanterns. And then the studio had told me I wasn't allowed to shoot anything, that there would be no film made of any kind during the production. That was the thing they insisted on. And I shot stuff anyway, of course, in my yard. And one of those things I shot was the Green Lantern scene. And they asked me, when they saw the movie and saw that I put that in there, they'd take it out. And I said that I would quit if they tried to take it out, and I felt bad. The truth is, I didn't want the fans not to have a movie just based on that one stand that I was going to take. And the Green Lantern was John Stewart, and that was part of it too. I was like, I don't want to take a person of color out of this movie. I'm not going to do it. But then I felt like having Harry Lennox's Martian Manhunter at the end, that was okay. Um,
yeah,
so man, we were about to have, we talked about it in the last stream. John
yeah,
Stewart, Green Lantern, crazy. And Zach standing up for his morals. Obviously, things were getting messed up here.
yeah,
A lot of the talk around the Twitter community is that, hey, if you're establishing the multiverse, why does it matter if he introduces a Green Lantern? And just to poke on
yeah,
that a little bit, if I was the studio, I know that Zach's going to do something dope with this, and it would ruin what we were trying to do. So I understand from a studio perspective why they did that. But theoretically, yes, we are establishing a multiverse, so it really shouldn't matter.
yeah.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I think that was did he show the footage like in 2016 or 2017?
That's the question, right? That's the question. I would imagine, yeah.
Because the multiverse wasn't established yet until just recently.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers had a different plan back then.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, a little frustrating, but again, it leads to the question of, are we going to ever get more? Now, in the interview, they also talk about Jared Leto ad-libbing some of these lines, and the interesting thing about like especially the line that we didn't get, the line about we live in a society. That line. That actually might make it into the black and white version of the movie, which is so awesome. So he talks about that a little bit, guys. Again, check out the whole article if you want to see more. I liked this little piece about. So I'll read the question. Esquire says, I know that Ben Affleck sort of stated that he was retired from acting and the role of Batman in particular. Did you kind of have a talk with him into shooting another scene? Snyder says, I called him up and I was basically just like, listen, bro, I've been talking to Jared and I have this idea for a scene. I think it'd be cool to see. He was busy and he was traveling around, but he really didn't hesitate. He was like, yeah, bud, for you, I'll do it. And just, makes me love Ben Affleck, because the common perspective on Ben Affleck in the past several years is that, man, this guy's just, why would you want to leave this Batman role? And, obviously he's going through a lot of demons, but he really is a good and genuine guy, as at least that's what it seems to be. He's one of the guys who even tweets about it, restoring the Snyderverse, when a lot of the cast are staying silent. Probably.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he has tweeted. He's tweeted all this stuff, or not restore the Snyderverse. He's he tweeted. He was part of the hashtags. The hashtag movements that we had leading up to this movie.
Oh, I thought you said he hashtagged restore.
No, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
That would be crazy.
All right, here's the last thing. Here's the last thing I'm going to read from this article, but the article does go into more, but these are the biggest questions that people have is, are we going to get more? So Esquire says, the epilogue sets up kind of so many possible spin-offs and sequels. Do you think that the movie will be so successful that sequels become inevitable? Snyder says, I mean, it's a fun thing to think about. I don't know if it's a reality. I know that the studio doesn't really have any interest, clearly, in doing another movie with me. I also know that it's a product and the market kind of decides in the end. You know what I'm saying? But I would be very surprised if that happened. Of course, I'd be surprised that this happened, so it's hard to say. So I'm surprised that this happened, so it's hard to say. Esquire also goes on to say, but as you were putting this ending together, did you have the hope that sequels could happen? And Snyder says, I guess it's a careful what you wish for kind of scenario, and I do think that it was part of the DNA of the thing to create an ending with a cliffhanger. It's the genre. A superhero movie doesn't really have an ending. It has a chapter break, but you never want to close the book 100%. And with the amount of effort that the fans had mustered to get this movie made, and the dedication and the money that they've raised for suicide prevention and the mental health awareness, I wanted the movie to be hopeful, optimistic, and included the version for future movies. So, this, along with other recent comments he's had, he doesn't really close the book, but he's just being realistic, kind of like, how I think, really it's going to be far-fetched to try to get more movies, but we're going to fight for them for sure. Yeah. And I think Zack knows that fans are going to fight for it. So he doesn't exactly close the book. So people that are asking in the comments, are we going to get more? Are we going to get a Justice League 2? I'm not going to put it past any of that happening. If you'd have asked me half a year ago, I would say probably not. Most 99% sure we're not going to. But now, especially with all the public outcry, we might. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I know, right? You can never know at this point. It depends on how. It depends on how Warner Brothers responds to the outcry for the sequel.
Yeah.
I just know it just feels like, to me, it just feels like Warner Brothers doesn't really care for what the fans think, because they're doing their own thing anyways.
Yeah.
This was released because of HBO Max.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers wouldn't have released this by themselves. So, it's gonna take a lot for us to get this sequel out, and just kind of like prove to Warner Brothers that we want it, and it's gonna be lucrative if you release it. I don't know. But I wouldn't totally say no. It's just hopeful it's wishful thinking, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to wait. If you, it's hard to, it's it's easy to forget that this is still the opening weekend. We don't even know we
Yeah.
don't know any
Plus,
numbers or details on this thing.
yeah.
Um,
Plus, like they just announced the Hour Man
ridiculous.
movie. Like it was a movie, right? And just
Yeah,
like in the middle of Snyder's, weekend, and
yeah,
it's just like that kind of shows you where
where they're
Warner
at.
Brothers
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
and it's just like they don't care. Like,
yeah. They are.
yeah,
Well, we'll see. We'll see again. A lot
we'll
of
see. Yeah,
But yeah, you're right. Good to point that out. Like, so that's where it currently is at, guys. Let's
yeah,
we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end the stream just by seeing what you guys are saying. The last 5-10 minutes, we'll just talk about what your guys' questions are. So let's go ahead and check out what you guys are saying. So what else are they saying? They're saying oh, there's a lot. Okay, so there's.
hello everybody.
So yeah, go ahead, talk to him, Darren. I'm trying to see where anyone catch the ending where there's implied Lois is pregnant. Okay. So there was a scene there was someone asking. I'm trying to find it right now, asking about Deathstroke and how you think Deathstroke is connected to, the ragtag group at the end. I don't know if Joe Manganiello, I know he did some interviews lately, so I don't know if he actually elaborated on that, but I just imagine these are the last of the Earth's resistance, so they had to team up. So I don't know, you got any ideas of how Deathstroke is involved?
Yeah, no, I think you said it right. I mean, this is the last fighters on Earth to defend, against Darkseid. So it makes sense for Deathstroke and Batman to finally team up, kind of put their issues aside.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, that's and I think so in that Esquire article, guys, that I was talking about, again, I highly suggest you read it because it goes into more details I couldn't get into this stream just because we gotta keep this stream within about an hour. But yeah, Zack had plans for interactions, especially with Joker. Especially, they're putting it's water under the bridge, but they also recant. There's a scene that he wanted to do in a sequel where they recant their version or their perspective on what happened with Dick Grayson. So, there was plans to elaborate. Unfortunately, now we're gonna just have to speculate, and that's gonna be fun for the next however many months, years until we get more news. But it will be fun. We will be fun, and I know Zack will probably do more interviews and post on things of what he might do because he does have new storyboards that he created for potential sequels. So the fact that he created storyboards for potential sequels tells me he does still have one foot in the door. Like he wants to stay. I mean, hopefully he does get to. Let's see. Colin has a gripe with the CGI with Martian Manhunter. To be honest, I do think it. I mean, he only had like 7-8 months to do this. Yeah. So I'm forgiving of it. I think he looked cool, but you could tell like it wasn't as polished as it could have been. And you got to remember he shot it as a Green Lantern scene originally, so he had to change this up. So yeah. Kind of.
So is that scene? Wait.
No, that's Harry Lennox. Yeah,
it's supposed to be Harry Lennox.
Yeah, Harry Lennox. But I think it mentions that the dialogue was kind of around the same thing. So instead of the Green Lantern introducing themselves, Harry Lennox is introducing himself. So yeah. But yeah, I do have a little bit of a gripe with the dialogue. I love how Bruce Wayne is so nonchalant about meeting a freaking alien, but I do think the dialogue was kind of too on the nose. They call me the Martian Manhunter. It was super comic booky though, and I still loved it. Francis says, guys, flashing when your first time at the end, bruh, chills. Have watched it so many times. Yeah, we talked about it. That was our number one top 5. That was actually both of our lists, and we didn't compare lists before starting the stream.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
During that scene?
The loose joint says, "Are you guys hiring?" Actually, you know what? We're that's Paulo. What's up, Paulo? Okay. The loose. Oh, I keep forgetting that Paulo is the loose joints. Okay, what's up, Paulo? Francis says, "Congratulations on being an advocate for the Snyder Cut. We won." Yeah, man. We were one of the people. We were one of the channels. I mean, there's a lot of channels now springing up, but I swear we were one of the early ones we were one of the early ones chanting this, and man, I got to look back on the videos and just see how.
Celebrating all weekend, man.
Yeah, exactly. I remember giving the Justice League version kind of a good review when I saw it. I think if you look back on the channel, I might have given it a good review, but I was in denial for sure. I don't know. Yeah, we all wanted to like it, but this is something I could be proud of, and yeah. Um,
What else are they saying?
yeah. So Paulo says the music choices were way better. Final fight scene was changed drastically, and just by the change of the music. Yeah, for sure. Music has a huge part in all this, and Junkie XL created this soundtrack from scratch. He's scrapped his previous soundtrack for the movie, and he worked on this from scratch. Man, crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, and shout out to you guys, Colin. You've been with us since the beginning, Colin, for this too, man. Shout out to everyone who's been not even on just our channel, but also who's been watching all the other channels: Chris Swanson, Ping Pong Flakes, Dave the Film Junkie, Film Gob, all these dudes. They've been fighting from the beginning, man. Shout out to all you guys. For real, I've been celebrating all weekend by watching it. So if we've been off the social media sphere, that's why, guys. So yeah, you know what? That's gonna be all for today. Darren, any closing thoughts?
Man, just keep enjoying that 4-hour cut, man. Like, I'm gonna do that right after this.
I'm sure I'm gonna be skipping through it while I'm doing all the other chores for today. So shout out to everyone on here. I apologize that there are some audio issues with Darren. I've been trying to figure out what's going on, but ever since getting this new computer, I've been trying to fix some things. So apologize for that in the future. We'll try to do more streams when we can, but yeah, it's been a while. So getting the hang of this. Thanks guys for hanging in there with us. Drop us down your top 5 list in the comments, or tweet at us with your top 5 moments or anything that we might have missed, and we'll bring it up on the next video or the next stream. So appreciate that, guys. We will last thing Paulo says, the only thing I didn't like were the 20 ending scenes, and it was definitely Lord of the Rings-esque, Return of the King, and that's all I can say about that. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us on this live stream. It was an impromptu live stream. We were drinking yesterday. Darren had just woken up. I said, hey, I'm gonna do a stream, you want to jump on? And so that's why we're still working on this. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching again. Like the video, and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.